What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you come to the channel. Check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to play a statement by Jim Rome, right? And Jim Rome basically it talks about LeBron James always trying to basically being a media, you know what, right? And just trying to keep and stay relevant as far as the media is concerned, keep his name out there. And so Jim Rome criticized him for that, right? Now, what I had to say about that is LeBron James don't realize that or maybe he's desperate, but taking this approach, being polarizing like this and trying to stay in the media is not a long-term solution. It's not good for his legacy and it won't pay off. Right. You've seen basketball players who chose to be like, and I like to use the Bad Boys, the Pistons, as an example. Like those guys, with the exception of Joe Dumas, somebody pointed out one time that, but like that bad boy perception, and it really don't pay off in the long run when you're polarizing like that. Look at how polarizing Dennis Rodman was throughout his career. And then after a while, it just gets old, But if you take the approach to having number one, if LeBron James had put in the work like any other great basketball player and left everything out there on the court, that would that right there would make your fans adore you. And they will have a different kind of respect for you. But when you try to take the media approach and you cherry pick as far as going to different teams and stuff like that, that's not something that you can sell. That's not something that you can tap back into, right? And so this approach that LeBron James is taking, as far as like trying to hold the NBA up and waiting for his decision, and he just looked like an old gray haired diva, basically. You know what I mean? And so let's listen to Jim Rome, and I'm gonna give some more input after Jim Rome finished what he had to say about LeBron James.
It is no secret that this is not exactly the busiest week of the sports year, not exactly the busiest week of the sports calendar. Nobody is more aware of that fact than LeBron James. Nobody is leveraging that fact to torture the entire world like LeBag himself right now. I mean, he really is making my point for me, because this might be his baggiest moment ever. Seriously, the indecision might just be the corniest, lamest thing he's done since the original decision itself. And this is why I have to call it out, even though I promised myself I would not. I promised myself I would not talk about this or him or it. But this is why I have to cover day 2 of Bag Fest in New York City, even though it's the last thing in the world that I want to cover. The two topics that I simply cannot get away from, even though I'm trying to desperately run away from both of them, are soccer and LeBron. LeBron, because he wants that run. All he wants is that run. That's the whole point of this. All he wants is run and attention. It's his oxygen. It's his life force. It's the only thing he likes as much as he likes himself. There is no reason why we still don't have a decision. Well, there is one reason. LeBag wants to drag it out as long as possible to bask in all the attention and make sure that everybody is going to wait on him. And they are. Even the most powerful people in this league are stuck waiting on this dude. Several entire organizations are stuck waiting for this dude.
Just because.
All right. So now with that being said, right? It's old, as Jim Rome just said. It's old. People resent that. the fact, and I think that once LeBron James is out of the league, like these kind of antics are going to come back and bite LeBron James. It's just going to come back and haunt him, and he won't be able to, you know, just imagine what he's going to have to do. Like, you have to do more outrageous things in order to stay in the public, in the public eye. And so with LeBron James taking that route, and I just don't think it's going to pay off in the long run. I think after a while, and Jim Rome just said it, just people just get tired of it. Not only do they get tired of it, they resent it. And so once people start to resent the things that you do, then they'll look for opportunity. Not just the fans. The fans will show their resentment by not supporting him financially, right? But other people will show their resentment of LeBron James by not wanting to do business with him, not trusting him when it comes to do business, because they think, he's going to try to pull these type of antics. Who wants to be a sponsor or somebody, you want to have the LeBron James be somebody who's going to buy an NBA team, and you want him on your, you want to partner up with LeBron James to buy an NBA team. You can't trust that LeBron James is going to, he's not going to try to steal the show. And if things don't go his way, then he's going to try to sabotage the deal or do something that could possibly sabotage the deal. So these kind of antics that LeBron James are doing, I definitely going to hurt him. Like I said, by fans, they're not going to support him. And if you're somebody, a big business person, you're not going to want to do business with LeBron James because he's not somebody who's reliable. He got to rely on gimmicks to get things done, and tricks and backhanded little things that he got going on. This stuff right here is really going to hurt LeBron James. It can work now, like I said, because he's in the league, and I don't think the league wants to do anything to to paint LeBron James in a bad light right now. They're just people are just waiting it out, basically. They're just waiting it out, and once LeBron James is no longer in the league, that's when he's going to get his wake-up call. That's when he'll look back on the decisions that he has made, like, throughout his career, and say, wow, I should have went this route. I should have did that. And for somebody like LeBron James, who considers himself to be a student of the game, he just made a whole bunch of, mistakes along the way that just is going to wind up costing him in the long run. He never built that loyalty and that trust with the fan base. He never built bridges and made contacts with other people and, throughout the industry that are going to serve him after he stepped away from the game. Those relationships, because even if you look at Mike, you look at Kobe, you look at Magic, you look at Bird, like, of course they had people in the league who did not like them, especially Mike and Kobe. Like, Mike and Kobe were not really well liked. And so anytime somebody got the upper hand on them, they couldn't wait to be able to take advantage of the fact that they had the upper hand on them. But they still had the respect of people who know that if you do business with Mike and you do business with Kobe, that you're going to get their best. And they're going to be professional about what they do, because those guys are perfectionists. And so that right there will allow you to take your personal feelings out of it. If you don't like Michael Jordan as a person, you don't like Kobe Bryant as a person, you damn sure admire them for what their work ethic, that you admire them for what they did in basketball, whether you like them or not. And so that kind of right there would get you over the hump and say, all right, I know what I'm getting with these guys. I can do business with these guys. But with LeBron James, like this little sideshow stuff he always have going on. Then his management team, Clutch, incompetent, saying things that are saying things publicly that they shouldn't be saying, and saying things publicly that are not true, things that aren't true. So all of this is going to come back and bite LeBron James. You know, it's stuff that these are things that professionals really don't do, or if they do, they can't get away with it because there's a price to pay for it. And LeBron James is going to find that out. You know, he had 23 years, man, to get himself together and to be, you know, this is like beneath somebody who is a billionaire, somebody who's been playing professional basketball, been a professional athlete for 23 years. It's really beneath him, right? And so, you know, but it won't go unchecked. And they're going to check him as soon as he step away from this game. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, man, I'm going to check you all out in the next video. Peace.